Hello, my supernatural and superhuman friends. Welcome to the Dark and Divine Encounters podcast, where the supernatural meets the extraordinary. I'm your host, Denise Dodge, and each episode I will be guiding you through the mysterious realms that lie just beyond our understanding. Here, we explore real paranormal encounters that range from the unsettling to the uplifting, proving that the paranormal world is as diverse and complex as our own fleshy lives. Prepare yourself for two true tales in each episode, one eerie and the other lighter. Life is a mix of trials and triumphs, and I've seen the paranormal is no different. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and follow us on social media for updates. New episodes drop every Wednesday until the season ends, and please note, this podcast features stories of paranormal activity and true crime, which may contain details or descriptions of events and incidents that may be unsettling or triggering for some listeners. So take care of your needs first and always. Today, for our dark segment, we're taking you inside the infamous House of Death in New York City. Known for its chilling past and ghostly residents, this historic townhouse has been the site of numerous eerie encounters and unexplained phenomena. What secrets does this haunted house contain, and can the spirits of its tragic past find peace? For our divine segment, we're going to hear about a friendly ghost, and here's a hint: it's not Casper. The townhome, now known as the House of Death, which is located at 14 West 10th Street in Greenwich Village in New York City, was originally constructed in the late 1850s. This elegant brownstone was initially built as a single-family home during a period when Greenwich Village was transitioning from a rural area to a fashionable residential district. Nowadays, Greenwich Village is mostly known for its vibrant art scene, historic architecture, and as a hub for bohemian culture and diverse dining options. But over the decades, this particular house has seen numerous occupants and has been subdivided into apartments. Its architectural style is characteristic of the mid-19th century, featuring ornate details and a stately facade. The specific details about the first families to own the house are not well documented. It was originally a single-family home typical of the affluent residences in the area. But over the years, it has housed many notable residents, including the famous author Mark Twain, which we will dive into more deeply here soon. Let's start with the earliest recorded family associated with the House of Death. This is the Brevoort family. The Brevoorts were a prominent New York family who owned the property in the mid-19th century. They were known for their wealth and influence in the city. However, specific experiences within the home during their ownership was never recorded, shared, or reported. The first recorded incident of bad luck at this home was in 1897 when cycling celebrity Fred H. Andrews was living there. According to the New York Times on August 9th of 1897, Andrew experienced a moment of reckless bicycle riding that resulted in him colliding with an 8-year-old boy named William Murtha on Hudson Street, which the reckless bicycle riding incident resulted in the boy's leg breaking. Andrew was subsequently arrested for his reckless bicycle riding, marking a notable misfortune during his residency at this infamous address. I'd like to note in the 1890s, a lot of people didn't know this, and I didn't even know this until I started doing the research for this podcast episode, was in the 1890s in New York, there was an increase of bicyclists called scorchers. It was a nickname. And the scorchers were known to ride their bicycles really fast with their heads down in between the handlebars. They were considered by some to be the first to give bicycling a bad name, as they were known to have no regard for pedestrians or laws of the road. So when Fred hit that little 8-year-old boy, William, it was at the time considered a really big deal, because a lot of people had strong feelings towards these fast bicyclists and their reckless attitudes towards the road. The public began complaining about these scorchers, and at the time, Teddy Roosevelt was the police commissioner. He approved the formation of a quote-unquote scorcher squad, which was 4 men who were tasked with catching and ticketing any speeding cyclists. So for this time in history, what Fred H. Andrew did was considered a stain on the reputation of this property, and that's why many individuals will mark his bicycling incident as the spark that began a string of bad luck. The next resident we're going to speak about at the House of Death, before it officially became the House of Death, is Mark Twain. Between 1900 and 1901, Mark Twain resided at this home. During his time here, Twain was intensely focused on writing. He was driven by a desperate need to make money as he was edging closer and closer to bankruptcy. The financial strain took a toll on him, and he struggled with depression. During these hardships, Twain managed to produce significant works, including his famous essay titled "To the Person Sitting in Darkness." I never want to assume that everyone knows who Mark Twain is, so just in case you don't know who he is, let me tell you a little about him. Mark Twain gained fame for his lighthearted, humorous novels and short stories, such as The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. He was also a sought-after speaker and humorist, and he would travel and provide humorous monologues. However, Twain also wrote darker, more serious works that addressed significant social and political issues of his time. The essay he wrote while living in this house that we're talking about today is particularly dark in nature, but it's a topic that we are still debating about to this day. In the essay, "To the Person Sitting in Darkness," Mark Twain critiques the imperialistic practices of several Western countries, particularly focusing on the United States and European colonial powers. Twain criticizes American imperialism in this essay, and particularly the country's actions in the Philippines following the Spanish-American War. He highlighted the brutal methods that were used to suppress the Filipino independence movement. Here is a quote from the essay. "During the last 10 months, our losses have been 268 killed and 750 wounded. Filipino loss, 3,227 killed and 694 wounded." We must read the following passage from the letter of an American soldier lad in the Philippines to his mother, which was published in Public Opinion of Decorah, Iowa, describing the finish of a victorious battle. Quote, "We never left one alive. If one was wounded, we would run our bayonets through him." End quote. Mark Twain had influence, and the horrendous acts happening in the name of imperialism to the Filipinos who were begging for freedom and independence was especially heavy on his mind while he was living in this home. Twain, though, was a strong skeptic who mocked the idea of ghosts and refused to believe in the unexplained or the paranormal. Some parapsychologists theorize that dark entities can feed on and enhance depression and other negative mindsets. And some theorize maybe his depression could have been worsened by any dark entities that were already living on the property. By the time Mark Twain had moved into this property, a lot of people had moved in and out because of them turning the building into apartments. So a lot of people moved in and out without recording their own paranormal experiences. But with the increase in people moving in and out, over time there ended up being an increase of paranormal activity from people passing away or committing high energy crimes on the property. But it wasn't, back to Mark Twain, it wasn't just the financial woes or his dark concerns about American imperialism and the moral failures of society that troubled Twain. During his stay, he also experienced a possibly paranormal event that added to the house's eerie reputation. Hey listeners, let's take a moment to talk about my affiliate supporter, Soundcore. When it comes to delivering superior sound quality, unparalleled comfort, and cutting-edge technology, Soundcore is in a league of its own. Imagine crystal clear highs, rich mids, and deep bass that lets you feel every beat. Soundcore's audio technology is meticulously crafted to bring your favorite tunes, podcasts, and audiobooks to life like never before. Whether you're a music lover, a podcast addict, or someone who needs to focus in a noisy environment, Soundcore has got you covered with products that outperform the competition. What really sets Soundcore apart is their relentless commitment to innovation. They use advanced technologies like hybrid active noise cancellation, customizable EQ settings through the Soundcore app, and ultra-long battery life that keeps you going all day. Their products are designed with you in mind, offering comfort for extended wear and durability that withstands everyday use. Soundcore truly has something for everyone, whether you're an audiophile, a fitness junkie, or a party enthusiast. They even have earbuds specially designed for those of us who listen to audio while we sleep. I'm one of those people. Their products are designed with superior sound quality, durability, and style in mind. But that's not all. By choosing Soundcore through my affiliate link, you're not just getting top-tier audio gear, you're also supporting this podcast. Your support allows me to keep bringing you content that we love, where we get to explore fascinating stories and dive deep into the paranormal. It's a win-win. So if you're ready to elevate your listening experience and support this podcast all at the same time, click the affiliate link in my show notes. Thank you for your support. And here's to many, many more episodes together. Thanks, y'all. One night, Twain noticed a piece of firewood moving on its own. Believing a rat was responsible, he pulled out his gun and shot at the wood. To his surprise, the shot produced drops of blood. Twain assumed it was rat blood, yet no other tenants ever reported any issues with rats, and no wounded animals were ever found. So what do you think? Was it a rat at play, or a mouse, or was it something more sinister? And do you think dark entities can affect someone's mindset, and maybe that's what worsened Twain's depression while he lived in this home? Now let's delve into the gripping account of the Bartell family, as chronicled in the memoir Spindrift Spray from a Psychic Sea, which was written by Jan Bryant Bartell just before she passed in 1974. From the moment Jan and her husband Fred moved into the top floor of the house, which was once the servants' quarters, Jan sensed an eerie atmosphere enveloping them. Despite the strange occurrences of phantom chill, unexplained sounds, and inexplicable odors, the couple had little choice but to remain due to a housing shortage at the time. Many families had moved in and passed away at the property over the years prior to them moving into the home, and we don't have a full account of all the paranormal activity there. I'm only sharing with you what I could find evidence of. But as time passed, the occurrences grew more sinister. When they first moved in, it started with the sound of footsteps, a brush against her neck, and a random, inexplainable scent of something. But the paranormal activity began increasing in intensity and was slowly enveloping her and having a very deep effect on her mental health. Perhaps most unsettling were the inexplicable odors. One was fragrant and inviting, and the other was a putrid stench that seemed to emanate from nowhere. Then came the apparition of a man, chillingly intangible, yet accompanied by an overwhelming sweet scent. In her memoir, she tells a story about being harassed by the sounds of footsteps moving around her, but there was nobody in the room. After one incident, a book came to her mind that she thought might help with the haunting situation, and so she called a local bookstore to see if they had it. They didn't have it on hand, but they were going to order it. A week later, it arrived, but she was ill, and they kindly agreed to deliver it to her. She writes in the book, "Half an hour later, I opened the door to a wiry little man whose graying hair quite literally stood on end. He was panting heavily, and his eyes behind thick spectacles had the frozen look of shock. He reminded me of a catfish en gelée. Without preamble, he thrust the book at me and squeaked, 'Lady, is this house haunted?' My hands began to shake as I gave him his money. 'Why do you ask?' 'Because, lady, somebody followed me up the staircase.' I stared at him speechless. I had prayed for someone to talk to, someone that would believe me, and now, at least, here he was. But before I could open my mouth, he was hurtling down the stairs saying, 'Lady, I wouldn't live here if they gave me the whole house.'" Determined to confront the inexplicable, the Bartells sought the help of a paranormal expert and a medium. The medium, in a trance-like state, revealed a haunting truth. Beneath the floorboards laid the remains of a young girl, an aborted child, and a small gray cat. Possessed by the spirit of Renee Mallison, a 19-year-old that was born in 1848, the medium lamented her tragic past, blaming President Lincoln for her husband's death in the Civil War, and mourning her lost child. In one incident, she witnessed a vision of a man, and when she went to touch it, she said it was chilly, damp, and it froze the tips of her fingers, and it had a strong, sweet scent attached to it. Despite efforts to reclaim their home, the Bartells felt compelled to flee. The chilling proclamation of the spirits echoed through the house, refusing to relinquish their hold. Jan Bartell couldn't shake the feeling of being poisoned by the house itself, a lingering reminder of the horrors that they had witnessed. Jan was able to move in 1973, but unfortunately, it was reported that she took her life in her bathroom on June 18, 1973, and others' reports say that she had a heart attack. I was not able to personally find evidence of which one was true, so I decided to just include both for you. I'm going to share one last story with you all about this property that occurred on November 1st of 1987. This is my last story about the House of Death, and it's our most recent one. Joel Steinberg, a criminal defense attorney that represented many high-profile cases, including some for the mafia, was living in this property with his live-in partner, Hedda Nussbaum. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize in advance if I mess up anyone's names or the pronunciation of anything. Please bear with me. Hedda Nussbaum, she was an editor at the time of a children's book at Random House. Joel had taken custody of a 2-year-old child from an unwed teen mother who had paid him $500 cash to find the child a good Roman Catholic home. Both Joel and Hedda were Jewish. They, however, decided to disregard the mother's request and decided to take the child in and illegally adopt her. It is said that this was mostly Joel's idea, but I was not able to find evidence that confirmed one or the other. They had another child with them named Mitchell, but Mitchell was also illegally adopted. The 4 of them shared a 1-bedroom apartment in the townhouse. It was very crowded for them and not really the most hospitable place to raise 2 children. There was no separation. There wasn't a lot of room. They basically felt like they were living on top of each other. One evening, Lisa had gone into the bedroom to ask Joel to take her with him to his dinner party. Lisa at this time is a small child, and you know how children are. If they see mommy or daddy leaving to go do something, they want to go too. And that's exactly what Lisa was doing. Little Lisa went in there wanting Joel, who in her mind is her dad, take her with him. Hedda at the time was in a different room. Moments later, Joel, under the influence of crack cocaine, carried Lisa's body into the bathroom and laid her body on the floor. Lisa's little body was unconscious from blunt head trauma, which was caused by Joel. Hedda, panicking, tried to revive her, but Joel kept insisting that he would wake her up when he got home later. Hedda believed that Joel had supernatural powers, and Hedda believed that he would be able to wake her up later. Hey listeners, here is my last affiliate supporter of the day. Thanks for bearing with me. Have you ever sipped on a cup of coffee and thought, wow, this is life-changing? If not, then you haven't tried Grateful Earth coffee products yet. Trust me, this isn't just any coffee. It's coffee with 6 added nootropics that have been shown to boost brain power. Grateful Earth coffee isn't just about the delicious, rich flavor or the perfect morning pick-me-up. It's about the positive side effects that you get from every cup. Warning: after drinking this coffee, you might experience the following side effects. Enhanced cognition and memory. Imagine breezing through your workday with a razor-sharp mind, remembering every little detail. Better conversations. Yep, that's right. Suddenly you're the most engaging person at the party and everyone wants to hear what you have to say. Effective problem solving. Instead of falling apart in a ball of frustrated emotions, you'll see the solution and hop right on it. Feeling wide awake? You know that perfect balance where you're alert but not jittery? That's what Grateful Earth coffee does. The capacity to pay attention to people. No more zoning out when your teacher gets lost in the details of advanced calculus. The capacity to assert your needs without being a grumpy jerk. That one's pretty self-explanatory. And last but not least, happy you had coffee. Because who doesn't want a genuinely happy feeling about their coffee choice? Grateful Earth coffee is crafted with the highest quality beans and a whole lot of love. It's not just coffee, it's your new secret weapon for a better day. Coffee with 6 powerful nootropics. So do yourself a favor and grab a bag of Grateful Earth coffee today. Click the affiliate link in the show notes to get yours now and support this podcast all at the same time. Trust me, your brain and taste buds will thank you. Remember, every cup of Grateful Earth coffee is a step towards a better you and better content from us. Thanks for listening. Later on, when Joel decided to come back home, he refused to help the gravely injured child, instead choosing to freebase cocaine for several hours. Hedda kept asking him to wake her up. He would put the weight of his arm on Lisa's body while talking to Hedda and acted like it was no big deal. The next morning, Lisa had stopped breathing, and that's when Hedda finally called 911. Hedda, after 10 hours of believing that Joel could wake her back up and Joel failing to do so, finally called 911. Lisa was transported to St. Vincent's Hospital, where she remained for 3 days before passing away after being removed from life support. Hedda was also seen for medical reasons. She had 9 fractured ribs, a fractured jaw, a broken nose, bruises, cigarette burns on her body, and her right leg was riddled with gangrene. She was also diagnosed with battered woman syndrome, also known as BWS. BWS is not in the DSM-5, which is a book often used by professional therapists to diagnose mental illness, but it is in the ICD-9, and it's currently listed as battered person syndrome, since it can happen to any gender. Mitchell, the other baby that was illegally adopted, was also seen for neglect, and eventually it was relinquished to his biological parent. The police investigation revealed that Hedda, Lisa, and Mitchell had all suffered physical abuse at Steinberg's hands. Joel was eventually released from prison due to New York's good time law, which releases well-behaved, quote-unquote, well-behaved inmates who completed 2/3 or more of their sentence. And he's, the last that I was able to find online was that he's a construction worker now and continues to claim that he's innocent. Back to the home, though. The tragedy left a lasting mark on this house, and to this day, many people believe that the spirit of little Lisa still haunts 14 West 10th Street. Visitors and residents have reported seeing the ghost of a young girl believed to be Lisa roaming the halls and rooms of the infamous brownstone. She's a curious and shy little ghost. There are some stories from other individuals living there that they've seen apparitions of women in long dresses moving from one room to the next, and they sometimes smell weird scents that come out of nowhere, and they often hear footsteps. You've just heard a chilling history of events that reminds us of the darker side of the supernatural. But here at Dark and Divine Encounters, we know that not all paranormal experiences are filled with fear. Sometimes they bring hope, comfort, and a sense of connection to something greater. Now let's shift our focus from here. Our next story will uplift your spirit and remind you that even if there are ghosts in the area, there can be moments of profound beauty and peace. Now let's delve into the legend and spectral sightings of a friendly ghost at the infamous Flanders Hotel in Ocean City, New Jersey. Dating back to the early 20th century, the Flanders Hotel has a rich and storied history. It was built in 1923 by architect Vivian Smith. This grand hotel was named after the famous World War I battlefields in Flanders, Belgium, as a tribute to the soldiers who fought there. From the start, the Flanders Hotel was designed as a luxurious seaside retreat, attracting wary travelers looking for a break from city life. Its elegant design and sophisticated ambiance quickly made it a top destination for those seeking relaxation and seaside beauty. Over the decades, The Flanders Hotel has undergone several renovations and expansions, yet it has steadfastly retained its timeless charm and architectural beauty. Today, it stands as an iconic landmark along Ocean City's boardwalk and is a beacon of hospitality and refinement. It continues to this day to captivate its visitors. Unlike the chilling and malevolent hauntings often depicted in popular culture, the haunting of the Flanders Hotel paints a picture of mild and positive paranormal activity. Reported occurrences such as unexplained footsteps and flickering lights carry an air of intrigue rather than fear. Visitors and staff members alike have shared their encounters with the otherworldly, describing gentle and non-threatening experiences within the hotel's walls. Yet amidst these tales, one spirit stands out: the presence of Emily, the supposed ghost of a World War I soldier's girlfriend. Emily's spirit adds a poignant and sentimental dimension to the haunting of the Flanders Hotel. Rather than instilling dread or terror, her presence is said to radiate warmth and compassion, embodying themes of love and loyalty and longing. Emily, the Lady in White, has captured the imaginations of guests and staff alike. Emily's ethereal presence is said to roam the hallway of the Flanders, her bare feet gliding silently across the floors. Witnesses describe her as a cheerful apparition, often seen playfully interacting with door locks and disappearing into the walls. Over the years, guests have reported swinging doors, unscrewing light bulbs, and the faint sounds of a girl singing echoing through the corridors. The legend of Emily traces back to the early 20th century, where she is believed to have been the girlfriend of a World War I soldier who never returned from Europe. Captured in a framed portrait by artist Twain, Emily's likeness adorns the walls of the Flanders, her story shared with visitors who dare to linger in her presence. Emily's mischievous antics are not confined to the hallways alone. She's been spotted in the hotel's Hall of Mirrors, the lobby, and various ground rooms, her laughter and singing filling the air with an otherworldly charm. Guests have even captured her ethereal form in photographs, her ghostly figure adding an eerie but enchanting touch to wedding celebrations held within the banquet hall. The Flanders Hotel remains a beloved destination along the Ocean City boardwalk, where guests can bask in the seaside charm and perhaps catch a glimpse of the whimsical spirit of Emily, Ocean City's Lady in White.